Alright, welcome back. We're going to be going through the 25 1F songs for Rock Band 1 Network 1 at 150% speed. So this has been drastically reduced from the previous video where it was 71 songs and we're all the way down to 25. And at this point everything is so difficult that, you know, as much help as is needed as possible. So I'm just going to do the same thing going through the songs, but obviously there's fewer songs this time, so it should be a nice, a much shorter video, should I say. So diving into it, we'll go from easiest, as far as this breakdown is concerned, to the hardest. Of course, this is all very, very subjective, and even I don't agree with the list that I've created because I've learned more about how difficult these songs really are. So, to start things off, we'll go to Plague to End All Plagues, which is so annoying. There's only the same thing to show off again, which is the chord riff. So that happens 8 times, that the difficult part of it. They all happen before like the halfway mark, and then the rest of it is just not throwing it away. But finding a good method for these chords was much harder than I anticipated. I thought maybe you know, it'd be possible to get lucky, but just strumming through it normal, just with like no major position shifts. Doesn't work for me, at least. There's ways you can get around it, like reset strumming in 3s, or, you know, sliding up like I've been doing there, which sometimes works. But yeah, Plague to End All Plagues is so frustratingly annoying because I feel like you have to have good hand RNG on the day, which is a ridiculous thing to say, but it is just that as far as the song goes. There's a little bit in a solo later on, which has some zigs, but it's nothing to write home about. If you even know it's there, you know, you can learn it in 2 seconds, and you won't choke after. Frank almost got it. I think he overstrummed in like the last 2 seconds of the song, which is very unfortunate, but it can be done. It's one I personally hate going for, but I physically can do it. Next up is Inno Satana, which is still hanging about. It's yeah, strum stamina / strum tech, as Jeff has described it. So I'm not warmed up whatsoever, so this is not going to be any good. You've got these gaps in the strumming, and then just a very long string of strumming. And this particular verse happens twice. I'm pretty sure the second time it happens, it's even longer than it is this first time. And you see it's still going on this first time, it just lasts absolutely forever. The second time, as long if not longer, but even if it's the same length, your stamina will be drained at least a little bit from the first time. And then we have the final verse, which is straight 16ths this time around, and very unusual chord patterns, random hammer-ons laced in there, so you'll probably be ending on up strums or down strums randomly. Requires a little bit of learning maybe. And at this point, you know, your stamina is going to be as low as it's going to be for going for this song. So that's Inno Satana, strum stamina thing. Next up, the Deceiver. Very frustrating that this song has lasted this long, especially since I should have had it before, because I got past the chords once. But this thing is just despicable. Like, even this part here is just very weird to play. And then that is just, nope, don't like it at all. Of course, I somehow managed to hit it, but that's the gist of it. There's some tricky riffs that start the song, and I think immediately after that, but they're nothing compared to the chords. And then there is a solo, which I neglected to show last time, but it's definitely worth knowing how to hit this. You know, it's kind of, not even that, it's pretty fast to even standard tap. So, some alt tapping would be preferred. If you can one-hand it, fair enough, but it is all just trills. Yeah, I'm not even going to waste time trying to hit stuff when I'm not warmed up in the slightest. But that is the Deceiver. I really want that one to not be there anymore, but it is. It's made it all the way up to the big 25. But yeah, for the songs, for me, that is probably the most likely one for me doing, but I wouldn't count on me doing it at all, because I would rather pull teeth than try it, honestly. Next up, big jump in difficulty in my opinion. This one could be a lot higher up. Twister, by Scott Attrill. Ironically, there are no trills in the song. So yeah, we got that sort of thing going on throughout the song. This is a very much a consistency check song. It's about 3 minutes and it doesn't really slow down for that much of it. So yeah, that at least the beginning part of it repeats at least once. Might be a variation on it, most likely. And then 2 of these raking sections. So with the consistent rake, you'd definitely be able to figure those out. The second one ends differently than the first one does. But yeah, you would need to be very familiar with this song, I think, unless you are literally fond material, which some people are. So if you are and you happen to be watching this video, feel free to contribute to everything here. It hasn't happened yet, but hopefully it will in the future, because otherwise this will very quickly stagnate. Next up, we got Shallow Waters, the final Amberian Dawn song to do in Rock Band Network 1. Blackett used to be able to do it, apparently can't anymore, which is a shame, because it's rough. These 2 solos, I might as well select them all as one. Yeah, without those strums there, it would be a lot nicer. Of course, if you actually can one-hand most of that, then that becomes a lot nicer. Then we have the second solo, which is nice. I think the second one clearly easier than the first, but if you ain't so good at elbow strumming, that first bit with the mini trills is going to be difficult. That's Shallow Waters. Next up we have Parhelia, which I know a little bit more about now. It's actually, I did mention this before, this is actually kind of a bit longer than most songs. It's 3:43 at 150, which isn't long per se, but that means it's like 6 minutes normally. So I shut off this chorus riff, which is indeed kind of annoying because of the way the strumming ends. So that happens, I think, at least 3 times. Twice before the solo and then 1 post, I think I'm right in saying. The good thing about that, even though it is frustrating that it ends, you know, on a strum rather than hammer on, but you can just strum those last 2 notes of the 3, you know what I mean, separately, and then you shouldn't overstrum. But it isn't. It's easier said than done doing that. There's some fast strumming of that speed that lasts a while, twice more throughout the song, another time post solo and also just before this solo. So a lot of strumming, you need to be pretty fast or rake it, because I think it's about 20. And then we have the money in the solo, which is this, which obviously rake spam and cheese can get you through that, but it's not free, really, at all. I think there's other weird parts in the solo, but if you were to just play it a few times, I doubt it would be much of a problem. That's the real big part. So Parhelia throws a lot at you. You don't get much of a break throughout the song. That's one I think I could do, but it would require a lot of dedication, I think. Next up, we have the BRE songs. I changed the order of these. History of Execution, which is just the more ridiculous looking, perhaps. So as you can see, I was comboing it there. There's a way you can get consistent at that. The reason it says that, if you read it, it makes more sense as to why it's actually like this, because it is under a BRE normally, so you would never have to do this in Rock Band 3. But if you the hyperspeed is going to screw it up. It says lol over and over again. If you tilt your head like Message to Blue style, it says lol, 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 lol. So yeah, it's an absolute troll. But obviously, it was never meant to be seen. But it does exist. And the rest of the song, which I didn't show before, but the very start of it shows what it's all about. So it's not that easy to actually get to there. That goes on throughout the first 3 minutes 20 of the song, I guess. So it could be done on Rock Band 3 without the BRE, but I think it's probably still easier for someone to just get good enough at the BRE on this game and do it here. Which can't be said for the next song. It's going to be a long night. So just to show it in CH now, the same deal, the BRE that's normally covered up. Just a vile transition into a trill there, and then more strumming after it. So yeah, it's disgraceful. The thing is with this song, if it was imported to Rock Band 3 and done with a BRE, it would be a very, 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 very easy, and it would be by far the easiest song left. So this one could be cleared up pretty quickly, actually. It's just a case of converting it. Obviously, it's nowhere near as hard as it would be, but it counts for the sheet. Otherwise, Body Scepter wouldn't be done. So, yeah, that's the deal with that one. Could be the easiest left, or it could be as hard as you want it to be here on Clone Hero. Next up, Real, which I think most people are pretty familiar with. This is where it gets really bad here with the strums underneath. You'd be pretty damn good at tapping and one-handing here, especially with this bit here. So yeah, just gets harder and harder. I think the ending bit isn't the worst part of it though. That would go to the bits with the strums underneath, in my opinion, just because it gets so fast and strange. It's not totally consistent. The song, as you probably know, is very short though, 1 minute 20. So if you felt like you could do that, you know, once, you might as well go for it, because it probably takes, well, how long does it take? 45 seconds to get up to the solo. Not wasting too much time on that, which is nice. Why it's not higher as well. Riot Act, just brutally all the way through. Got the solo. In fact, I'm going to show the chorus before the solo, which I didn't show before. The chorus is so bad. And there's 2 choruses. The second one is actually worse than that, but that's sort of what you're looking at. And the solo is rough, mainly because of this strummy bit here. Quite a fast transition. I mean, if you're warmed up and you could one-hand it, then it's not the worst thing in the world. And then a post-solo riff. I guess just as a side note, I've found that strumming the chords in these riff sections makes them nicer, so maybe that'll work for you as well. Then we have the ending riff, which follows a chorus. It's rough, this song. Obviously, they all are. It goes without saying now. These are all very hard. It's not like mid-tier players might have a shot. You have to be extremely good at the game to do any of these songs. There is no low-hanging fruit anymore. You could maybe make an argument for the Deceiver, or it's going to be a long night in Rock Band 3 is easy, I guess. But doing it on Clone Hero, this stuff is, you know, be good or go home. Pawns. One of the worst charts ever made and released in Rock Band. The chords, these happen twice, both in the first half of the song. Just very difficult. So they happen twice. We have this riff, which happens, you have to do that a total of 8 times. So, I mean, it's not terrible, that part, actually, but it's certainly missable. You would want to be comfortable with which strum you're ending on with the gallops, so it'd be up strum, and then down for the rest of the cycles within each time it happens. And then the solo, which is such a state. This first half is okay, you get a good method for it. Certainly better methods than what I'm doing now. And it gets exceptionally bad here. And then the ending isn't too bad actually, if you just double strum this stuff. If I was half warmed up, I would be able to hit it on the fly. And I have hit the full solo once, but it's a farce. You know, it's far-fetched for me to possibly do the whole song, I think. So yeah, Pawns is really bad, as they all are. But bad because it's a bad chart. Crushed Beyond Dust. 1 minute 42, another shorter one. We got this fast strumming here. So that ends with a chord, so raking through it might work until you get to that point, but I mean, getting out of it is not going to be so easy. There's fast-paced riffs throughout the song, but none of them would be deal breakers. The chord ending is the deal breaker for most. It's pattern. There's pattern to it. Definitely gets the worst when you get up to the yellow through orange bits. Jeff says he finds it okay, so maybe we can just pawn this one off to him. But it's really something. My Parasite. These next two songs are just dreadful Evile riffs, really. So that is just a taster. Then we also have, I think, I messed up the sections here. So yeah, they love overforcing these riffs. Then we have really fast strumming riffs here. Don't know exactly how fast it is, might be about 20 honestly. And then we have the solo, which is not free. The transition into these trills is pretty quick, IIRC as well. At least that's self-explanatory, but the very end of the solo is not self-explanatory. It's not the worst thing you've ever seen, but you would want to be comfy with that, for sure, when the rest of the song is so difficult. I mean, it's the whole ways, those riffs. There's nary a break in it, honestly. And Infected Nation, could be argued which one of these is actually worse. I think it might be this, because it's a bit longer, and also we have this just disgrace of a riff. That's the worst it gets, but there's plenty more riffs like that. Then we have the solo. Just once again, pretty doable. but you'd want to be very, very comfortable with it. So yeah, very doable. But the rest of the song I find is not doable for me anyway. And that's not even all Evile, so there's still 4 Evile songs left. That's just how rough these songs are. Next up, In Memory, not really been looked at by anybody as far as I know. The worst album art in the world, and also some pretty disgraceful charting, to be honest with you. The first big solo here. Of course, if the song was just this, it would already be done. It's not the worst thing in the world. And this is where forcing really bites you. I mean, you could probably find a way to utilize hammer-ons there because it's 7 strums between the hammer-ons, but that would be changing on up strums, which is very frustrating. And then we have this gauntlet. So yeah, you see what I mean. And that's 2 minutes in, one of the closing sections of the song, really. In Memory, not good, no wonder no one's tried it. Okay, next up, we got Death Quota, which is another Gauntlet song. Whichever the correct version is, right here. The triangles, as I said before, are almost certainly the worst part of it. I reckon a song like this could be kind of appealing though, because it has some notoriety already, and it's kind of fun actually. So I want to show off the strum section actually as well, which I didn't before. So there's very fast strumming that maybe you could stand it if you were really fast, but it ends on strums like that, kind of. Ends on a chord. So just blind, wild raking through it is not that good. Then we have solo 3. So it's even standard tappable, probably quite comfortably alt tappable for a lot of people as well. You can wild rake through that, or just standard strum through it. Solo 3 shouldn't be a deal breaker for this song. Solos 1 and 2 are also quick, but they're also not going to be deal breakers. So yeah, I would say it's mainly the triangles and the strumming with this song, and then being consistent at the solos. The song is what, like 5 minutes? 4:49 at 150. Your Treachery. I couldn't gauge exactly how hard this song was for a while, but I mean, yeah, it's really bad. So that whole beginning part lasts about a minute or so, and those chords happen twice, bookending the beginning. The solo itself isn't bad, but then it transitions into pretty quick triplet strumming. Yep, and then the ending is could be argued to be the worst part, maybe. Maybe. I mean, it's basically just the last second that's really bad about that. The rest of it you can just anchor red and do whatever you have to do with your ring and pinky. Treachery, I don't know. I don't know exactly how hard it is. Chord gods might not find that very hard, to be honest with you. Headed for the ditch. For reasons everyone knows, these chords that happen twice with different transitions into them. The rest of the song is very fast-paced, but nothing is all that bad outside of those chords, to be honest with you. The very end is missable as well. But with us being on Clone Hero, it's not actually that bad. But you would definitely want to be comfy with that if you were going for the song. The song's actually not that long, 2 minutes 13 at 150. Doublecrossed. Maybe a bit highly placed, but it is bad. If you have a 3-3 rake, this song is so much nicer. Like, genuinely, if you have a 3-3 rake, have a look at this. The rest of the solo isn't easy either, but it makes this strum section, like, it just negates it entirely if you have a 3-3. See, I'm not really very easily able to hit that with a 3-2. 2-2s won't work there very well either. And you would have to wrap your head around these weird, overly forced bits later on in the later on in the solo as well. But that is all there is to this song. At least it's just the solo. It's not like a gauntlet like a lot of these other songs have been. The next one most certainly fits the bill of that completely. Burn by Mike Orlando. Everyone knows it at this point. This part I think is probably the worst, these sweep sections. So the fact that also closes the song sucks. Solo 5 is always a nice one. Once again, Wild Raking will save us there. So yeah, Burn, more gauntlets. There's plenty more things I didn't show off there as well, like very fast triplets, and then Solo 4 in itself is pretty long. Not Solo 4, Solo 3 is long and throws a lot at you. But as I said in the previous video, it's stuff that is nice on Clone Hero. It's not hard for the same reason it's hard on Rock Band 3. It's just that it's so fast. I think that mirrors exactly what I said in the first video. Exactly. Time No More. Apparently VM got close to this, but it's still not done. Of course. So there's more than I showed last time that I want to show this time. Of course we have this riff that shows up right at the beginning. That's will instantly throw off anyone that ever plays it. But I think around here is where the riffs get just unholy, honestly. Yeah, you see what I mean? Like, no. Just no. And then a little bit of a tricky part in the solo, but, like, I'm not gonna really stop anyone from doing it. Time No More, the worst riffs ever constructed by a human being, realistically. Apparently it can be done, but I wouldn't be the one doing it. Yep. Okay, Alpha Strike. We're into the big boys now, that's for sure. I would say Time No More is the first of the upper echelon. Time No More, Alpha Strike, Abraxas, Slight Amplification, and Nyland are the absolute worst Rock Band Network 1 has to offer. So Alpha Strike, another kind of gauntlet. So many hard sections in it. A lot of them are raking based like that. This whole big middle section. This whole part is just... Solo 3 and the part preceding it. Just the worst. So, I mean, you can boost those draws, I guess. How consistent that be, I wouldn't know. There are a few strings in there. and the raking to end the last hard part of the song. So Alpha Strike, and there's more raking that I didn't even show off, but yeah, Alpha Strike is so bad. Abraxas, more raking, but not as fast and weirdly forced. We got 2 of these trill sections that show up. This first section at the beginning of the song is very weird, that you're about to see. And then inconsistently forced strumming that doesn't end on hammer-ons. So you see there, that just ended short because that's how it is in the song. It doesn't end with a hammer-on. And that keeps happening like through, or like 30, 40, through halfway through the song. And then later on we got stuff like this. That's not hard if you have 2 of these. And then I might as well show. Immediately after that we go back into it. And this is more examples of these breaks that we have. It's absolutely one of the worst ones. And not many people have even thought about looking at this song. For good reason, probably. Last 2, the order of whatever the hardest song has been hotly debated. I don't think it's this personally, but some people say this is the worst one. It's like Amplification. We've got this verse riff that keeps going, a lot of all strum stuff, like descending quads and that sort of stuff, so it's hard to get to the solo. Where we got this. Where obviously the main money is the all strums bit here. So yeah, the song is brutal all the way through, and there's missable stuff after this as well, but nothing quite in the as hard as what we've seen up until the 60% mark. A slight amplification is also a lot shorter than what I call the hardest, which is Nile length. The Nile length is 4:38. The first half is just basic chords, which is so annoying. If it was just the second half of the song, then it would be obviously much more appealing, it goes without saying. But it's going to deter everyone. Solo 1. In fact, I'm just going to play the second half. Just see, before you deem this is not that bad, how much you have to do. We're however long, we're 2 minutes into the song, okay, at this point. This has just started. Okay, nothing too bad so far, to be honest. Yep, not too bad for plates, I guess. So solo 1 already, getting past that is going to be a chore. Solo 2, much faster than it used to be. Don't forget about these solos. Solo 3 not that bad. Oh wow, look, solo 4 is actually missable now. Solo 5 we know what to expect. And then we get solo 6. You gonna tell me that's that's nothing? Not even worth a debate against a slight amplification? Nah, I don't think so. there's a clear winner in my eyes. Because that's not even it. For me, the clear win, I got like a -100 there. So, and you can see I was even missing the main riff at times. I wouldn't imagine people going for the FC would ever miss the riff. But it's still there, and there's so much. You see that whole section lasts 2.5 minutes, non-stop barrage almost, of difficult stuff. Solo 7 and 8, I guess you get a break. But the rest of them, 2, 3, and 4, you're just passing them by, yeah, nothing. But it's not nothing anymore, because it's so fast. Solo 6, one of the worst sections there is in Rock Band Network 1, and that's past, Solo 1 and 5. 5, I mean, you can learn, but you need to have the speed for it, I guess. I mean, obviously, it's not saying that I don't want the songs to be FC'd, so if someone looks at that and thinks, no, that isn't bad, then, go ahead and do it for me then. And I will not complain, that's for sure. But yeah, that's it. The 25, I think I've taken a little bit more time per song here, just to show exactly what you'll be looking at. But yeah, RBN 2 is starting to get weeded through. It's gonna be quite a long time before that gets done, to the point where we're weeding through. We're doing the secondary weeding. It sounds so stupid what I'm saying, but you know what I mean. And then until we have a list of songs that I can go through again. So that'll be a long time in the future. For now, we got these 25 songs. If it gets to the top 10, I guess I'll make another video, but I don't see that happening soon unless some fun, looks at this and thinks, you know what, I'm going to take it upon myself and help the community out by doing many of these songs. But I don't blame them if they don't, because all of this stuff is absolutely vile. Really it is. There's not a single song that I want to go for anymore. I've done all that I really felt that was at all appealing. But yes, that is all I'm going to say for now. So there we go.